Evening all. So there I was looking outside my window in my lovely local station of Eskinen, and I noticed somebody had dropped a station right next to where I base out of, and I thought, that's odd. And then literally a day after it was dropped, Pandemic Horde came in and reinforced it, and I thought, that's odd. And then like a week later they came back in and killed the armor, and I thought, this is still very odd. And then I thought, so I'll just present to you the kill of the station. So this is about 5 billion, probably more actually if it's fitted. But anyway, this guy dropped a station. It was a one-man corp, and he seemed to have something in his bio that was, I don't know if it was kind of, crap talking PL or not. I don't know, but there must have been something there, because PL obviously have come, or Pandemic Horde have come and basically splashed them all across the area. So literally, I'm sat in the Rataru 5k away watching this through the port window. I'm literally looking through my binoculars to see far into the distance to watch this station be destroyed, which was an interesting one because I've never actually seen a station be popped. So, all credit to Wrecked from Pandemic Horde. I would never want to get on the bad side of this corp. They look pretty scary. So what you're about to see is the beginning of the end for this wonderful AZBEL. It's a shame in a way because I'd love to have bought it. I would love to get an AZBEL, but it just seems an awful lot of risk. I don't know. Post in the comments if they're worth it. I think the Rataru, or Raitatu, at 500 mil is pretty cool because that's like 2 battleships or whatever. That seems quite cheap to me. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really want to own stations. I don't want to do a lot of that, but it did seem a really cool station, and I must admit, I do like these upwell structures. They do look, well, they look amazing, particularly at the sun as well. It's really nice to see them in operation. So yeah, it's interesting stuff that they basically destroyed the station within a day of it being planted. It was anchored, and then a day later it was reinforced, and then a week later, because it takes a while to go through all the timers, I guess. Or was it 2 weeks? Anyway, it's a long time. And this was yesterday, or Saturday, the 24th of February, and I was just literally docking when I saw like stuff happening, and I'm like, ooh, what's this? So it's kind of like watching a load of balaclavaed hooded men kick in the door next to you, like your next door neighbour's house. You see like a group of, let's say they're definitely not police, kicking in the door. It makes you think, well, I better be a bit careful here because this could end badly. But I did laugh at it because just to see this much firepower in Empire was quite a surprise. I don't know, I kind of think that's cool actually. It's been a long time since I've seen a fleet of this size and power. So it was interesting to see them work. Or Tempests, I guess. Is that so people can't jump in long range maybe and snipe you? I don't know. I always thought Macarials were the meta at the moment, but I guess that's for fleet fights. So this is just structure killing, so I guess Tempests make a lot of sense. I remember when we were killing Pocos, my Tempest was always pretty much at the top damage, more or less, and that made them pretty good. In fact, I think the top damage was Dominic's, now I think about it, with drones and guns. So there we go. Amazing to think that the Space Cow has the ability to do that. Obviously, it was interesting somebody tried to Concord somebody as well, so you notice Concord have turned up and they're shooting them with fireworks, which I thought was rather amusing. But yeah, it's lovely to see footage like this. I mean, this is nothing to do with me. I had no part in this. I should be very clear on that. But to me, it was interesting to watch it happen because every so often you see these things in Empire. Well, actually, you don't really see them, but this is why it's quite interesting to film. But I just thought a station being destroyed is worth watching just to see how long it takes. And I can confirm that with this level of stuff on the field, it took about 15 minutes, which is quite scary. In fact, it probably took a little bit less now I think about it, but it was quick, and I think that was quite a surprise. So yeah, let's not annoy big groups of people with Logi rep battleships because I could just only imagine they'd cure a Raitaru in probably half that time. I don't know, do they have more hit points? I think they do. It always comes down to it. Why would you plant like very expensive structures in Empire? And I think probably that's true of everything really. I mean, the keep stars look amazing, but they have no purpose in Empire, right? Am I wrong there? I mean, they don't. The reason the keep stars exist, I thought, was that you could dock super capitals at them. So it's kind of like an alliance headquarters in deep space, and that makes an awful lot of sense. So it's also a really good. It's a good capital building, isn't it? As in, you have it as your capital place. Obviously you can have multiple, but you know, it makes sense to have them. But at 300 billion ISK, good lord, that's expensive. I mean, that is, I think, one of the most expensive things in the game. And I know that there's a faction version of the Keepstar which apparently no one has built yet, and I don't know why that is. Post in the comments. Is there a reason? Is it impossible to get the blueprint, or is it because it's like 2 trillion or something? I remember somebody saying to me, you'll probably never see one of those things because they're 2 trillion, which is pretty, I mean, that's just, why would it need to be that expensive? I just don't understand. But there we go. So in Empire, I can only understand really why you would probably use the Astra House, the Athenor, and the Raitaru, is it? They're the level 1 complexes. They're really cheap. They're like $1 bill each. I think the Raitaru is 500 mil, as I say. So, you know, it makes more sense, surely, to go that route. The AZBEL, because I was tempted with something like an AZBEL, but because you can build capitals in it, but the only capitals you'll be able to build would maybe be freighters and orcas, is that right? Again, I'm asking people to post in the comments because my level of ignorance is obviously incredibly high. But I like the look of the AZBEL. It looks pretty sweet. The Raitaru looks quite tinky. And I just think the look of it is pretty cool. It's a shame in a way that there is no way to kind of do a deal on these things. People kill them for the kill mounts, and I do understand that. So I wasn't even going to try and stick my head out and say, excuse me, do you want to sell that? It's just not going to happen, is it? But I like the thought that it could be. You know, you could literally go to them and say, right, broker a deal. There's always a deal to be done, as Mr. Trump says. So could you go and do basically a deal and say, right, I'll give you 12 battleships full of this? No, I don't know. You know, it would never work, but it would be funny to at least suggest it. But there we go. We've been doing a bit of moon cracking. So in our other corp, we've got a moon cracker now. So we've been doing that in a 0.5. Relatively boring. I mean, mining, probably the next video I bring you will be mining, so you better strap yourself in for the adrenaline rush roller coaster ride that is mining. It was as boring as I remember it, and I worked out the last time I mined was something like 2005, 2006, so over a decade ago, literally a decade. Was when I last properly Empire mined. I did probably mine in 0.0, but again, that probably would have been 2007, 2008. I never bothered mining because it's just not really my thing. So post in the comments, is it worth doing? I thought the idea of planet or moon cracking in 0.5 was good because it means that there's a bit more of a rush of minerals in, so that can't be bad. But from what I gather, and this was just mining in an orca, that from what I got from it is that it's not lots of money, it's not very interesting, it's actually pretty dull. There's always a threat of ganking, but that's actually the fun bit probably about it. I quite like the thought of trying to defend against being ganked, but other than that, I can't really see the point of mining. What was interesting is a lot of people seem to do it AFK, so they get an orca, they pick the biggest roid that they can lock onto, and then they just literally start the process and bugger off. And I think that's a bit cheeky. I think there should be something that stops that, like your drones randomly stop. I know that's frustrating to people, but I don't think you should ever be playing a game AFK. That to me is tantamount to kind of botting in my mind, and I don't think I like that. Post in the comments, do you agree that? I don't think it's right. I think you should at least be at the computer, you should be at the keyboard. And okay, yes, you may have to like do something every so often to do, I don't know, your drones could have a malfunction, you have to then repair them. That'd be nice, but I don't know if CCP want to do that. I think they're so paranoid of annoying people and they leave. You know, I think that is a big factor in this, so I can understand that. For me, I'd love to have it if there's a little mini game that came up to say one of your droids is disabled and you have to do like the hacking thing for data sites. It's quite interesting. It's quite a little fun game to get them back online, and then all of a sudden they start mining again. Stuff like that surely can't be bad, but it means that you're not going to have this automated AFK stuff. But to be honest, if you're ganked AFK mining, you deserve everything you get. And that's the thing. If you like, I used to gank people who were AFK traveling in Empire, because if you were doing that with billions of ISK cargo, then you deserve everything you get, no sympathy whatsoever. So, and that is something we're about to start doing again, by the way. We're about, probably a video coming soon will be me rekindling my Raffles the Gentleman Pirate. And if you've no idea what I'm talking about, go and look at my very first videos. They were terribly made, like today, they're still terribly made. And they're just really kind of interesting looks at the way you could gank before. So there we go, AZBEL dead. I love the wreckage. Look at that. It's pretty sweet, isn't it? at the moon, at the sun, I think that is a wonderful thing. I'd love it if they stayed permanent as well, because the wreck was gone in like 2 minutes. So that's pretty, I guess it's because you can salvage it, but I'd rather it just be there for like a week, a month, just to act as a thing to say, there you go, that's it, it's done. So there you go, that's how close it was. It was so strange to see all this happen, and then off they go. Props to them, a really good kill, Mel, well earned. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.